All right, we'll go ahead and call the Wednesday, July 24th, 2013 meeting of the Logansport Board of Public Works to Safety. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Carol Sue, please.
Mayor Franklin.
Here.
Chris Armstrong.
Here.
Ron Miller.
Present.
Approval of minutes, July 17th, 2013 minute.
I've read the minutes, and I would make a motion we approve the July 17th minutes as presented.
Second.
The minutes have been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes pass on a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Approval of claims in the amount of $253,219.64.
I reviewed the claims, and I would make a motion we approve them as presented in the amount of $253,219.64.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Passes on a vote of 3-0. There are no licenses for consideration. Are there any visitor comments? No visitor comments. There's no old business. Under new business, we have a request from Randy Head for the Pumpkin Run Autism Awareness. It's a request for a street closure to be held on October 14th between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12:30. And let's see.
Yeah, October 12th.
October 12th?
It was a Saturday.
Okay. Typo. October 12th between 9 and 12:30. And that's, again, on Jefferson Hill.
Yes. We'd also use Bishop Park. This will be the second year that we've done this.
Right. I'd make the motion that we approve the request. I attended it last year. It was a good time for all. The kids had a wonderful time racing their pumpkins down the hill, and a few of them didn't make it all the way down, fell apart before they got there. But it was a very good event, and it brings much attention to the condition known as autism. I believe Senator Head has even been assigned as chairman of a special study group in Indianapolis as autism. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. It passes on a vote of 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a request by Maple Run Friends Church to vacate an alley.
Mayor Franklin.
Yeah.
John Keyes in the audience.
Okay. I think it's pretty simple. We're all familiar with it. It's an area, it's an alley that currently exists but is very seldom utilized for any purpose other than to grow weeds. Is there any discussion?
Is ours a recommendation to the City Council? All
Um,
right.
I believe the City Council will have final jurisdiction in this, I believe. Yeah, and this is just Board of Works would approve and pass on to them.
I would make a motion, if there's no questions, that we approve the request of the alley vacation for Maple Run Friends Church as presented.
I would second that motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Passes on a vote of 3-0. Thank you. Okay. Under reports, first up is Building Commissioner.
Good morning, everyone. I had submitted my report for your review. Is there any questions? I did note on the report this week the total of registered rental properties that our department has received to date, which is 470. Based on the areas that we have not gotten to within the city to formally request or require registration of property, I would assume that we're probably going to be well over 600 by the time we get done by the end of the year with total properties registered. We have been working, myself and code enforcement, when he has time, have been inspecting properties. We have 154 we have inspected, and we have resolved issue on 70 units, and we have released 70 certificates, which just signifies that they have met the minimum ordinance requirements under the property maintenance ordinance. The other item I'd like to just touch on is 208 South 6th Street. I did move forward last week with the board approval to issue the 10-day notice as required by ordinance, requesting or requiring each property owner to bring their facilities up to minimal structural needs based on the report that the engineer had submitted on June 3rd. Each one of the property owners were notified. I did receive notice back from our system that they did receive the notice. I've had conversations with the owners at 210 South 6th Street and 212 and 214 South 6th Street, so they are working on it. The owner at 210 South 6th Street has opted to have her building demolished. She has completed a contract. There are stipulations within her contract that will have to be negotiated as we move forward with the abutting property owners. But at this point, that is her desire because, as I understand from her, the marketability of her property versus the cost, it would have to go back into it as required. She has chosen the demolition route. But as I say, there are stipulations on that contract, so that is yet to be finalized based on how the other two property owners respond. But we are moving forward. In the notice I did send out to the owners, if we do not have resolution by all three owners, they will be called to appear on August 7th in front of the Board of Public Works to have a final discussion on what their desires are, and then at that time I will make a recommendation, what my office's recommendation is for the board to make a decision.
And have the people that own 208 South 6th Street offered to walk away from the property, to just sign it over?
Yes, back on the meeting that I had with them in April after the initial collapse of the building, the father and the two sons had clearly stated that they would be willing to walk away from the property. The discussions or the blocking points to a finalization of that was that their desire obviously was to walk away financially unburdened of any consequences, and at that point in time that was something that I number one, I didn't have the authority to say yes to, and secondly, the magnitude of what the cost was unknown. So
yeah, and do we know, are there liens currently against the property?
Yeah, currently there is a over $50,000 worth of tax debt on the property in 208, according to the auditor's website on the GIS system. And we have placed on the initial demolition portion, we have a lien of about $53,000. The city does against the property as well for the initial building collapse and the expense that went into correcting that situation. Beyond that, I don't know if there's any ancillary liens as far as other banknotes or whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. I'd make a motion that we approve the report of the building department.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion or any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass it on a vote of 3-0.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
You have in front of you my weekly report. It's been submitted for approval. Before we get into that, I do have one notice to appear today. That is for a property located at 1414 12th Street, owned by Jamie and Rihanna Balderas. They reside here in Logansport at 822 15th Street. First notice for property cleanup was sent out on July the 12th. Very little response to that. Notice to appear was sent out on July the 10th. Proper notification was made. The property owner did sign for the letter, acknowledging receipt of the letter. Unfortunately, this is a rental property. The occupants of this property, this type of situation seems to follow them. They move quite frequently. With that in mind, I would request respectfully the board's approval to have the street department go down and do remediation on this property. I believe at least one of you is fairly familiar with the property. Chris has been down past there several times, as well as myself.
Was it the owner who signed?
The owner did sign for it.
Not the tenant, but the owner.
The owner, right. Jamie Balderas
Right.
signed on Friday, July the 12th, acknowledging that they received it at 3:22 p.m.
Is there anybody here representing?
I asked,
You folks here for that? Okay, just checking. I want to make sure that I give everybody the opportunity to speak. Okay, is there anybody here representing Jamie or Reina Balderas, 1414 12th Street or 822 15th Street? Anybody from any of those addresses? Okay, nobody here to represent. Board member comments? I'd make the motion that we order the property cleanup at 1414 12th Street.
I second
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes on a vote of 3-0. Have anything else on your report?
just my normal report for your approval.
I'd make a motion that we approve the report from the code enforcement officer as presented.
it. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes on a vote of 3-0. Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I respectfully submit my report for the Public Works Department for the City of Logansport. Hopefully you have time to go through it, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
How you coming on your brush routes?
Well, we saw light at the end of the tunnel until this weekend, and we're still maybe 4 days behind.
Did the city of Logansport incur much damage compared to like Peru last week?
Not really limbs, but no big trees, nothing in that magnitude. It's just people are out trimming stuff up that they haven't done in a couple years.
And in your report, trim back guardrails on Parkwood, is that the bottom of the hill where
Yes,
the
it
road
is.
crosses over
Yes,
that
we
little-
had a request from a property owner and we went in and
Okay.
immediately trimmed it back.
Great, thanks. If there are no other questions, I'd make a motion that we approve did you want to say anything about the cemetery, or is it included in this one? Of course.
It's all included, yes, sir. It
I'd
should
make
be
a
on the
motion that
back
we approve
page.
the Superintendent of Public Works report as presented.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes on a vote of 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. I did hear from Chief Clark. He's going to be in late this morning. He's got a doctor's appointment. And Fire Chief Strong is excused. Are there any board member comments?
None?
Nope.
Okay. Is there any other miscellaneous business, including ADA Section 504 compliance and concerns, or any other matters not already considered? Okay.
Motion
Is there-
to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn. And